Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a huge three-part episode of the Wrestling vs. the World podcast. Hope you all are enjoying today. If not, well, hopefully this three-part episode is going to change it, because this one is probably my most researched subject ever. So we all know the phrase, card subject to change, which means that something could be advertised, but for one reason or another, it may not happen as originally scheduled. So I've gone through a lot of shows, and I mean a lot, over the course of 20, 30 years of WWE programming, and I have found over 200 examples of matches that WWE advertised, but that did not happen as originally advertised by the time the bell rang for these matches. So I'm going to lay out a few ground rules. First off, this is going to be a three-part episode, so the first 100 I got typed out on my list is going to be for part 1, this episode. Part 2 is going to be the next 100, and then part 3 is going to be the remainder, and honorable mentions. Honorable mentions I'll get to in part 3 to describe that. Now, there are going to be 3 main rules regarding all this list. Number 1, it's only going to be televised matches, so nothing involving house show matches are going to be on any of these lists. Number 2, these will not include matches that are suddenly just thrown out to say, oh, it's now suddenly no disqualification. So you're not going to see Rock Stone Cold from WrestleMania 17 because, oh, it was announced as a regular match, and next thing you know, oh, it's suddenly no disqualification to the pay-per-view. Because if I included matches that were just suddenly changed to just being a no disqualification match, there would be a lot on this list. And number 3, there will be no battle royals listed in here where somebody's advertised to be part of a battle royal but they're not in it for one reason or another. So those are going to be the 3 main rules with all of these on this list. Only televised matches, not going to be any matches that are just basically changed to be no disqualification, and no battle royals where somebody is replaced. Everything else, it's going to be a long list. Now, this is not going to be in any particular order. I was originally going to reorder this all to be chronological, but that would take a long time due to all these listings, so please bear with me. This is going to take quite a while, and we're going to have to start getting into it. This first example. Night of Champions 2009. Originally, there was a 6-pack challenge for the United States Championship. The original advertised match was The Miz, Jack Swagger, Kofi Kingston, MVP, Carlito, and The Big Show for the United States Championship. However, Big Show would be taken out of the match due to a match that will be listed later on and replaced during the pay-per-view by Carlito's brother Primo in this pay-per-view match. Example number 2, the 6-pack challenge from Unforgiven 1999. Now, originally, it was Triple H defending the championship against Kane, Big Show, Undertaker, Rock, and Mankind. However, there would be a couple changes as time went along. Undertaker would leave the match due to real-life injuries, but on-screen saying that he quit, and Vince McMahon would win the title and later vacate it before the pay-per-view. So, British Bulldog would take Undertaker's spot, and Triple H would regain his spot in the match, but now it would be for the vacant championship, and Stone Cold would also be added as the special guest enforcer. So we went from Undertaker being in the match and Triple H going in as the WWF champion to title being vacant, Triple H regaining his spot, and Undertaker being replaced by the British Bulldog. Number 3, the 10-man tag team match at WrestleMania 10. We've heard stories about this. This was a match cut due to time constraints, due to Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon going longer than expected. The 10-man tag match, which was just a throwing match, would be postponed to, I believe, Raw the next night or the week after, one of the two. Number 4. Originally, at SummerSlam 1996, we were supposed to see Ahmed Johnson defend the Intercontinental Championship against Farouk. However, the match would be canceled due to Ahmed having legitimate kidney issues, and the Intercontinental Championship would end up becoming vacant prior to the pay-per-view, thus canceling the match altogether and delaying their feud. Number 5. Originally at In Your House on Final 4, it was going to be Triple H defending the Intercontinental Championship against Ahmed Johnson. However, on the Raw Thursday prior to the pay-per-view, Rocky Maivia, later known as The Rock, would win the Intercontinental Championship from Triple H instead, and that would change the match to Rocky defending the title against Triple H, and Ahmed Johnson would not even compete on the pay-per-view. Number 6, Survivor Series 2018 originally was going to be Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles, champion versus champion. However, Daniel Bryan would take AJ Styles' place upon winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship prior to Survivor Series and taking on Brock instead. Example number 7, Crown Jewel 2018, same year. Originally, we were supposed to see AJ Styles defend the WWE Championship against Daniel Bryan. However, due to the controversy in Saudi Arabia, Daniel Bryan would back out from the show and would be replaced at the pay-per-view by Samoa Joe. Number 8. At Extreme Rules 2013, we were supposed to be having the World Heavyweight Championship defended by Dolph Ziggler in a triple threat ladder match against Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger. However, Dolph Ziggler would be withdrawn from the pay-per-view due to a real-life concussion, and the match would be then changed to Jack Swagger versus Alberto Del Rio in an I Quit match to determine the number 1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship at Payback when Dolph Ziggler was healed and medically cleared to compete. Number 9. TLC 2011. This went through a bit of a change leading to the pay-per-view. Originally, it started off with CM Punk versus The Miz for the WWE Championship as CM Punk was starting to gain number 1 contenders. Eventually, Alberto Del Rio was added as a 3rd man, and John Cena, temporarily, was a 4th man to make it a fatal 4-way TLC match. However, John Cena would sacrifice his spot so that Zack Ryder would get a chance once again to try to compete for the US Championship, this time at the TLC pay-per-view, thus making the WWE Championship officially the triple threat between CM Punk, The Miz, and Alberto Del Rio. Number 10, No Way Out 2012. We were originally supposed to have seen Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio, which we saw 3 different pay-per-views that year, but due to Alberto Del Rio suffering a concussion prior to the pay-per-view, he will be replaced by Dolph Ziggler. Number 11, in No Mercy 2016, we were supposed to have seen Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship, but due to an unknown injury that Becky Lynch suffered prior to the pay-per-view, the match would be canceled, and Alexa would go on to face Naomi at the pay-per-view instead. Number 12, Survivor Series 2017, Alexa Bliss, the Raw Women's Champion, was supposed to go against Natalya, who at the time was the SmackDown Women's Champion. However, Charlotte would take Natalya's place upon winning the SmackDown Women's Championship prior to the pay-per-view and would take on Alexa Bliss instead. And Natalya, well, we'll get to that in just a little bit. Number 13, at the Evolution pay-per-view, we were supposed to see Alexa Bliss versus Trish Stratus in a one-on-one match. However, this match would be completely scrapped, and this will be explained a little bit later on when we get to another match or two involving the exact same pay-per-view. Number 14, the Survivor Series 1993, we saw the tag team of All Americans versus Foreign Fanatics, but we had a couple of little replacements there. Tatanka would be replaced by The Undertaker after suffering from kayfabe injuries caused by Ludwig Borga and Yokozuna, and Pierre of the Quebecers on Team Foreign Fanatics would be replaced due to kayfabe injury and be replaced by Crush. Number 15, Survivor Series 2001, Team WWF versus The Alliance. Vince McMahon was originally going to be on Team WWF, but prior to the pay-per-view, as seen on TV, The Big Show would be given his spot going into the event. Number 16, No Mercy 2006. This will also be continued a little bit later on. Originally, it was supposed to be Batista versus Finlay in a one-on-one match, but as I'll get to later on when we get to the other entry in this revolving the pay-per-view, this match would not take place at all. Number 17, Great American Bash 2006, we were scheduled to see Batista finally go one-on-one against Mark Henry. However, Mark Henry would suffer a legit leg injury on Saturday night's main event around a week before the pay-per-view and would be replaced by Mr. Kennedy to take on Batista instead. Number 18, Great American Bash 2007, this will also be combined with another later entry, was supposed to be Batista versus the Great Khali in a one-on-one match, but due to another match that will be explained a little later on, it would be completely scrapped and instead be combined with a 3rd man. Number 19, Clash of Champions 2020, one of the more recent examples. Nikki Cross was supposed to go one-on-one against Bayley, however Nikki was not medically cleared to compete at the pay-per-view, and the match would instead be changed to Bayley versus Asuka as an impromptu match. Number 20, Beth Phoenix and Melina were supposed to team up to go against Candice Michelle and Maria at WrestleMania 24. However, Candice Michelle would get injured shortly after returning to the ring due to an injury that she suffered the year prior, and Ashley would end up taking her spot in the Playboy Lumberjill match. Number 21, WrestleMania 33, as we know, was supposed to be a triple threat tag team ladder match. Big Cass and Enzo versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus The Bar for the Raw Tag Team Championships. However, it would be made a fatal 4-way tag team ladder match at the pay-per-view as the Hardy Boys were added in as last-minute inclusions. Number 22, WrestleMania 2000, aka WrestleMania 16, the original scheduled match was going to be Big Show versus Triple H one-on-one for the world title. However, it would eventually become a triple threat with The Rock, and then later added as a fatal 4-way elimination match when Mick Foley would be added to the main event. Number 23, WrestleMania 27 was supposed to be Big Show, Santino Marella, Vladimir Kozlov, and Kane versus the Core in an 8-man tag match. However, right before the pay-per-view, Vladimir Kozlov would get written off due to an attack by the Core and replaced at the pay-per-view by Kofi Kingston. Number 24, another instance from the Great American Bash 2006, was supposed to be a United States Championship triple threat match. Bobby Lashley versus champion Finlay versus William Regal. However, Lashley would be pulled the day of the pay-per-view due to elevated enzymes of the liver. This is not the only time you will hear that excuse being for why somebody's pulled from a match at this pay-per-view being brought up within the series. Number 25, now this is a bit of a minor one. WrestleMania 35, originally plain old Finn Balor was supposed to go one-on-one for the Intercontinental Championship against Bobby Lashley, but advertising would change as he would then announce that he was bringing out his demon persona at the pay-per-view. Number 26, WrestleMania 34, United States Championship was supposed to be on the line in a triple threat match between Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, and Jinder Mahal. However, it would become a fatal 4-way when Rusev would be added to the match. Number 27, Crown Jewel 2018 Universal Championship match was supposed to be a triple threat. Roman Reigns defending the title against Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman. However, the championship would be vacant and would go to being a one-on-one match between Brock Lesnar and Braun due to Roman's real-life leukemia returning in his life, thus causing him to withdraw from the event and being off television for a few months. Number 28, Payback 2017, Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. Originally, the WWE Championship was on the line, then it would be a championship match and a House of Horrors match, but then finalized saying that the championship was no longer up for grabs at the day of the pay-per-view. Number 29, Survivor Series 1992 had a couple quick changes. Bret Hart defending the World Wrestling Federation Championship against Shawn Michaels. Couple changes being that Shawn Michaels originally was advertised to have Sensational Sherry in his corner, which would change due to a whole on-screen incident with Sensational Sherry, a mirror, and Marty Jannetty. And also, Shawn Michaels would then go in as Intercontinental Champion upon winning the championship from the British Bulldog at Saturday night's main event, thus making it a champion versus champion match. Number 30, In Your House Final Four once again appears on this list. Bret Hart, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Vader in a fatal 4-way match originally was just going to be to determine the number one contender for the World Championship. However, Shawn Michaels vacating the belt on Raw Thursday, due to him losing his smile, caused the championship to then just simply be on the line in this match. Number 31, I touched this just a bit ago. Survivor Series 1992 was supposed to be the Intercontinental Championship being on the line between the British Bulldog, who's the champion, and the Mountie. However, the match would be canceled due to the British Bulldog losing the Intercontinental Championship to Shawn Michaels on Saturday night's main event and being released, thus canceling the match altogether. And I don't believe the Mountie even had a match tonight, but the Intercontinental Championship match completely canceled after Bulldog had to drop the title to Shawn Michaels and would be released. Number 32, Royal Rumble 2019 was supposed to have seen Braun Strowman challenging Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. However, Braun Strowman would be written out of the match for angering Vince McMahon and would be replaced at the pay-per-view by Finn Balor. Number 33, originally Roadblock 2016, we were supposed to see Bray Wyatt go one-on-one with Brock Lesnar, the feud to end up starting off due to interactions at the Royal Rumble. However, this would be changed to a handicap match, as Bray, who was not medically cleared to compete at the time, would team with Luke Harper to go against Brock Lesnar. Number 34, Survivor Series 2017 was supposed to see champion versus champion. Jinder Mahal as the WWE champion going against Brock Lesnar, who was Universal Champion. However, shortly before the pay-per-view, AJ Styles would win the WWE Championship on an episode of SmackDown, thus taking Jinder Mahal's spot in the match up against Brock Lesnar. Number 35, we're going way back on this one. SummerSlam 1988, Honky Tonk Man was supposed to have defended the Intercontinental Championship against Brutus Beefcake. However, Brutus Beefcake would be written out due to an attack by Outlaw Ron Bass prior to the pay-per-view, and the Honky Tonk Man would end up getting a mystery opponent that night, being the Ultimate Warrior. Number 36, SummerSlam 2018. As we know, the SmackDown Women's Championship was being originally scheduled to be defended by Carmella one-on-one against Becky Lynch. However, Charlotte Flair would get added to the match, thus making it a triple threat right before the pay-per-view. Number 37, No Way Out of Texas in Your House back in 1998 was supposed to be Chainsaw Charlie, Cactus Jack, Owen Hart, and Stone Cold Steve Austin against the New Age Outlaws and DX, being Triple H Shawn Michaels. However, Shawn Michaels was legitimately dealing with back injuries that he suffered at the Royal Rumble and would be replaced at the pay-per-view by Savio Vega. Number 38, Unforgiven 1999. Ken Shamrock was supposed to have gone one-on-one against Chris Jericho. However, Shamrock would leave the WWF right before the pay-per-view, reasons not fully clarified on, and would be replaced at the pay-per-view by X-Pac, which would just be started doing a backstage attack. Number 39, one example, this will also be kind of continued in another entry. We had originally also had China versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at SummerSlam 1999 for the WWF Championship, but that got changed. Will be explained a little bit later in another entry that is involved in this match. Number 40, Vengeance Night at Champions 2007. We were supposed to see CM Punk versus Chris Benoit for the vacant ECW Championship. However, due to Chris Benoit's real-life family tragedy, Johnny Nitro will replace CM Punk as an emergency replacement at the pay-per-view and would go on to win the championship that very night against CM Punk. Number 41, TLC 2012. We were supposed to see CM Punk defend the WWE Championship against Ryback in a TLC match. However, due to CM Punk having legit knee issues and having surgery before the pay-per-view, the match will be delayed to the January 7, 2013 edition of Raw, and at the pay-per-view instead, Ryback would team up with Team Hell No, being Kane and Daniel Bryan, to go against The Shield in a 6-man tag team TLC match. Number 42, Hell in a Cell 2013. We were supposed to see Curtis Axel defend the Intercontinental Championship against Big E Langston. However, Curtis Axel would be pulled from the pay-per-view due to a hip injury, and Big E would go on to face Dean Ambrose in an impromptu match instead for the United States Championship that was being set up during the kickoff show. Number 43, Extreme Rules 2015. We were supposed to see Daniel Bryan defend the Intercontinental Championship against Bad News Barrett. However, Daniel Bryan would be pulled due to health concerns regarding concussions and everything, thus canceling the match, and Wade Barrett instead would go on to face Neville in the pre-show of the pay-per-view instead. Number 44, Hell in a Cell 2015. This was either going to be on the main card or the pre-show. Dean Ambrose was supposed to have teamed up with Randy Orton to go against Braun Strowman and Luke Harper. However, Randy Orton would suffer a shoulder injury prior to the pay-per-view, thus canceling the match altogether. Number 45, one of the most infamous cases of a substitution in your house 3 triple header. It was supposed to have been Diesel and Shawn Michaels, aka the Two Dudes with Attitude, going against Owen Hart and Yokozuna. However, during the pay-per-view, British Bulldog would take Owen Hart's place in the match. Owen would be participant just a slight bit later, but British Bulldog would take his place for most of the match and would be in there to take the finish. And then, of course, the ruling of the finish would be completely retconned the following night on Raw. Number 46, Bad Blood in Your House from 1997. We were supposed to see Dude Love go one-on-one with Brian Pillman. However, the match would be canceled due to Brian Pillman passing away right before the pay-per-view was scheduled to have begun. Number 47, one that may not be commonly known. WrestleMania 10, we were supposed to have seen Earthquake go one-on-one against Ludwig Borga. However, Ludwig Borga had suffered a leg injury at a house show earlier that year and would instead be replaced by Adam Bomb. Number 48. Now, I was touching on this a bit earlier. The Great American Bash 2007, we were supposed to have seen Edge versus Kane for the World Heavyweight Championship. However, Edge had to vacate the World Heavyweight Championship due to injury prior to the pay-per-view, thus making the championship on the line in a Battle Royal, which was won by the Great Khali. So, Batista and the Great Khali would then add Kane to make it a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship at the pay-per-view instead. Number 49, this will also be touched on with another later entry, TLC 2010. We were supposed to have seen Edge versus Kane one-on-one, I believe, in a TLC match for the World Heavyweight Championship, but it was what will be explained in a bit of a later entry. That got an extra addition in there as well. Number 50, at No Way Out 2003, we're supposed to have seen Edge team up with Brock Lesnar and Chris Benoit against Team Angle, being Kurt Angle, Charlie Haas, and Shelton Benjamin in a 6-man tag team match. However, Edge would be taken out backstage doing an attack. In reality, Edge was suffering from a broken neck, and the match would instead be a 3-on-2 handicap match of Brock and Benoit against Team Angle. Number 51, Royal Rumble 2018. We were supposed to see Enzo Amore defend the Cruiserweight Championship against Cedric Alexander. However, the match would be completely canceled due to Enzo Amore being released following his sexual assault allegations. Number 52, TLC 2017. Finn Balor was supposed to go as his demon persona against Bray Wyatt's sister Abigail persona. However, the match would be scrapped entirely as Bray Wyatt would be afflicted with meningitis, and instead Finn Balor would go one-on-one that night instead against AJ Styles. Number 53. Now, Elimination Chamber 2010, we were supposed to see Gail Kim go against Maurice for the vacant Divas Championship. However, this would be put off as it would be changed to a tag team match where both of them would team up to go against Lay Cool in an impromptu bout. Number 54. Now, this is a slight change, but it's still a change nonetheless. WrestleMania 33, it was going to be a standard one-on-one match between Goldberg and Brock Lesnar for the pay-per-view. However, it would then be made for the Universal Championship upon Goldberg winning the championship from Kevin Owens at the Fastlane pay-per-view prior to this. Number 55, WrestleMania 36, we were supposed to have seen Goldberg go one-on-one against Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. However, Roman would withdraw due to the ongoing pandemic causing concerns for his health, and Braun Strowman would take his place at the pay-per-view to go against Goldberg for the belt. Number 56, Survivor Series 1993, we're supposed to see the Hart family go against Jerry Lawler and his Knights. However, Jerry Lawler would be replaced by Shawn Michaels due to Jerry Lawler having sexual assault allegations being brought upon him, and he had to disappear from television for several months while this whole thing got cleared up. Number 57, No Mercy 1999. Hardcore Holly and Crash Holly, aka the Holly Cousins, had a tag team match against the New Age Outlaws, but originally it was supposed to be a tag team championship match until the Holly Cousins cost the New Age Outlaws the tag team titles to the Rock and Sock Connection prior to the pay-per-view, thus making this match just a standard tag team match rather than a title match. Number 58, one of the most infamous cases. WrestleMania 8 was supposed to have seen Ric Flair defend the championship against Hulk Hogan, but the match would be scrapped altogether. Instead, we would see Hulk Hogan go against Sid Justice, and Ric Flair defend the championship against Macho Man Randy Savage. Number 59, the Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber match. At Elimination Chamber 2015, Rusev was originally going to be a participant in the match, but due to a foot injury he suffered on SmackDown prior to the pay-per-view, he would be replaced at the pay-per-view by Mark Henry. Number 60, at In Your House International Incident, we were supposed to see Jake the Snake Roberts go one-on-one against Mankind. However, this would be completely retconned as Henry L. Godwin would instead take on Mankind at the pay-per-view instead. Number 61, Survivor Series 2008, we know it was supposed to be a triple threat of Jeff Hardy, Triple H, and Vladimir Kozlov for the WWE Championship. However, Jeff Hardy was said to been written out because he was, quote-unquote, found unconscious at his hotel, and late in the match, Edge would take his place, thus being added to the match. Now, number 62, I kind of added this because it was a little iffy due to the placement on the card. WrestleMania 25, Carlito and Primo versus John Morrison and The Miz, Tag Team titled Unification match. This match would just randomly be bumped to the pre-show. Number 63, we were supposed to see a standard one-on-one match between Brock Lesnar and John Cena at Royal Rumble 2015 for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, but Seth Rollins would be added to the match, despite being Mr. Money in the Bank, to make it a triple threat match for the night. Number 64, Money in the Bank 2012 was supposed to be John Cena, Kane, Chris Jericho, and Big Show in a fatal four-way ladder match for the Money in the Bank briefcase. However, it would be a five-way match when The Miz that very same night would announce his entry into the Money in the Bank ladder match itself. Number 65, Payback 2013, it was supposed to have been John Cena defending the WWE Championship against Ryback in a standard ambulance match. However, after that announcement, John Cena would raise the stakes, thus making it a 3 Stages of Hell match instead. Number 66, WrestleMania 9, we were supposed to have gotten Kamala one-on-one against Bam Bam Bigelow, but the match will be scrapped, most likely due to time constraints on that night. Number 67, Night of Champions 2008 was supposed to have been a standard one-on-one match between ECW champion Kane defending against challenger The Big Show, but Mark Henry would be added to the match, thus making it a triple threat bout for the championship instead. Number 68, Kane and X-Pac at Armageddon 1999 was originally scheduled to be a standard one-on-one match, but on Sunday Night Heat prior to the pay-per-view, the match would instead be changed to being a steel cage match between both men. Number 69, No Mercy 2006, I touched this a little bit ago. We were also supposed to see King Booker go one-on-one for the World Heavyweight Championship against Bobby Lashley, but as mentioned before, we were also supposed to have seen Batista versus Finlay. Instead, both matches would be combined to make it a fatal four-way for the World Heavyweight Championship on the pay-per-view. Number 70, Night of Champions 2012 was supposed to have been Layla defending the Divas Championship against Kaylan. However, Eve Torres would take Kaylan's place after Kaylan was attacked backstage and written out of the match. Number 71, at Bad Blood in Your House, we were supposed to have seen a 6-man tag match of Legion of Doom and Ken Shamrock going against the Nation of Domination. However, Ken Shamrock had an injury prior to the pay-per-view and would be removed, thus making Legion of Doom going in a handicap match against the Nation of Domination instead. Number 72, Triple H was supposed to have defended the Intercontinental Championship against Mark Henry at Breakdown in Your House. However, Triple H would be written out of this match due to the legit knee injury he had been dealing with for a while and would later vacate the championship due to this injury. Number 73, Armageddon 2008, Matt Hardy versus Vladimir Kozlov. The ECW Championship was originally scheduled to be on the line for this match, but then prior to the pay-per-view, it was announced it was just going to be a standard non-title bout between both men. Number 74, another instance of Survivor Series 2018. The men's tag team for Raw versus men's tag team for SmackDown. Daniel Bryan would be taken out of Team SmackDown upon winning the WWE Championship and having the match against Brock Lesnar, and Jeff Hardy would end up taking a spot into the match. Number 75, this will also be touched on just a bit later. We were supposed to see Mickie James versus Lita at the Evolution pay-per-view, but as explained just a little bit later in the only other instance to talk about the Evolution pay-per-view, this did not take place. Number 76. At Armageddon 2005, we saw the tag team match of MNM versus the Mexicools. However, originally, the WWE Tag Team Championships were going to be on the line with MNM being champions. However, they would lose the championships to Batista and Rey Mysterio prior to the pay-per-view, thus making it a non-title match. Number 77, Survivor Series 1993. Mr. Perfect, 1-2-3 Kid, Razor Ramon, and Marty Jannetty were scheduled to go against IRS, Adam Bomb, Rick Martel, and Diesel. However, Mr. Perfect would not compete at the pay-per-view and instead would be replaced by his last-minute substitution, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Number 78, I believe this was Survivor Series 1992. Natural Disasters and the Bushwhackers were scheduled to go in a 8-man tag match at Survivor Series against the Beverly Brothers and Money Inc. However, the tag titles would go from Natural Disasters over to Money Inc., and the Nasty Boys would end up taking the Bushwhackers' place at the pay-per-view. Number 79, New Age Outlaws were scheduled to go in a tag match against Kane and Mankind at SummerSlam 1998. However, the match would not take place as scheduled, as Kane would not appear as Mankind's partner, and Mankind would just be in a handicap match against the New Age Outlaws. I believe they added a no-holds-barred/false count anywhere stipulation into this match. WrestleMania 36, we were supposed to see New Day versus The Miz and John Morrison versus the Usos in a triple threat tag team ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. However, due to COVID issues and worries involving The Miz, it would then be changed to a triple threat for ladder match for a man for each team. Kofi Kingston versus John Morrison versus Jimmy Uso for the tag team titles. Number 81, we were supposed to see Randy Orton go one-on-one against Batista for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 30. However, it would be made a triple threat match upon Daniel Bryan defeating Triple H earlier in the night, thus being inserted into the match. Number 82, Backlash 2016, we were supposed to see Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt in a one-on-one match. However, due to Randy suffering a legit concussion from his match at SummerSlam just a month or two prior against Brock Lesnar, it was instead changed to Kane versus Bray Wyatt in a no-holds-barred match in the pay-per-view instead. Number 83, I touched on this just a bit ago. Armageddon 2005, Big Show and Kane versus Rey Mysterio and Batista ended up becoming a tag champion versus tag champion match when Rey and Batista won the tag titles from M&M prior to the pay-per-view. Number 84, I touched this a bit ago as well. TLC 2010, we're supposed to see in a chairs match between Rey Mysterio and Alberto Del Rio. However, it would be combined with the Kane and Edge match, thus making it a fatal four-way TLC match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Number 85, Armageddon 2004, Rob Van Dam and Rey Mysterio against Kenzo Suzuki and Rey Dupree. The graphic changed a little bit on who the tag team champions were going into the pay-per-view. Number 86, Survivor Series 2018, we were supposed to see Becky Lynch go one-on-one against Ronda Rousey. However, Charlotte would take Becky's place due to a legit broken nose and concussion caused at the hand, no pun intended, by Nia Jax. Number 87, speaking of that, WrestleMania 35 was supposed to have been one-on-one between Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship. However, a couple changes happened in the lead to the pay-per-view, as it would soon be changed to Charlotte versus Ronda, then becoming a triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship, then became a winner-take-all match when Charlotte won the SmackDown Women's Championship from Asuka, thus making both titles on the line winner-take-all. Number 88, Money in the Bank 2020, we were supposed to see R-Truth go one-on-one against MVP. However, Lashley would end up taking MVP's place after an in-ring confrontation right before the match was supposed to take place instead. Number 89, SummerSlam 2016, we were supposed to see Rusev defend the United States Championship against Roman Reigns. However, the match would just become a brawl and would be delayed just a little bit to the Clash of Champions pay-per-view, probably due to time constraints on this case. Number 90, at WrestleMania 33, we were supposed to see the Raw Women's Championship defending a triple threat match of Bayley defending the title against Sasha Banks and Charlotte. However, it would become a fatal four-way elimination match when Nia Jax would be added prior to the pay-per-view. Number 91, Survivor Series 2017. It was supposed to have been Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, the Raw Tag Team Champions, against the Usos, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. However, the Bar would take on the Usos instead after winning the Raw Tag Team Championships from Rollins and Ambrose before the pay-per-view could happen. Number 92, Survivor Series 2015. I touched on this with the Seth Rollins video. Seth Rollins was supposed to have defended the WWE Championship against Roman Reigns at the pay-per-view. However, Seth Rollins would suffer a legit leg injury at a house show against Kane, and the championship would become vacant, thus causing a four-man tournament at the end for the pay-per-view to determine who the rightful WWE Champion would finally be. Number 93, at King of the Ring 1997, we were supposed to see Bret Hart go against Shawn Michaels in a one-on-one match, with a stipulation involving the Hart Foundation. However, the match would be completely scrapped due to Bret Hart not being medically clear at the time, and I believe there were also still rumors that they couldn't get along due to real-life heat that was going on between both men. Number 94, at In Your House 4 Great White North, we were supposed to see Shawn Michaels defend the Intercontinental Championship against Dean Douglas. However, Shawn Michaels would have to back out from the match and forfeit the championship to Dean Douglas due to his bar confrontation with the 1 Marine or 10 Marines or however many there were, thus also setting up Dean Douglas to defend the championship right away after being handed the championship against Razor Ramon. Number 95. Now, I know this seems a bit random because this is a Raw match, but due to the significance, I put it on here. On the Thursday episode of Raw, which was February 13, 1997, Shawn Michaels was supposed to have defended the championship against Psycho Sid, but we know that did not happen due to Shawn Michaels vacating the championship due to him, quote-unquote, losing his smile. Number 96. Speaking of Shawn Michaels and Psycho Sid, they were supposed to have gone one-on-one for the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam in 1995. However, the match would be completely changed, and instead Shawn Michaels would defend the championship against Razor Ramon in a WrestleMania 10 rematch, still under a ladder match rules. Number 97. In Your House International Incident saw another change. We were supposed to see Shawn Michaels team up with Ultimate Warrior and Ahmed Johnson to go in a 6-man tag match against Owen Hart, Vader, and the British Bulldog. However, Psycho Sid would take Ultimate Warrior's place due to the Ultimate Warrior being fired from the company due to missed dates and poor behavior backstage. Number 98, this is similar to the tag match involving WrestleMania 25. WrestleMania 27, we were supposed to see Sheamus go one-on-one with Daniel Bryan for the United States Championship. The match would then be bumped to the dark match of the event, which you can find on, I believe, on the WrestleMania 27 DVD. Changed to a lumberjack match, which would end up being a no contest, and then you would also get a Battle Royal right afterwards. Number 99, this also kind of coincides a little bit with King of the Ring 1997 a little bit. Stone Cold was supposed to go one-on-one with Brian Pillman at the pay-per-view. However, due to Bret and Shawn Michaels not happening, both matches were scrapped. Instead, you saw Stone Cold Steve Austin go one-on-one against Shawn Michaels, both men being the tag team champions at the time. And finally, number 100. I know this was possibly somewhat announced. I know it was also discussed on Stone Cold's DVD. On the June 10, 2002 edition of Raw, Stone Cold was supposed to have a King of the Ring qualifier match one-on-one on Raw against Brock Lesnar. However, Stone Cold would walk out from the company after refusing to put over Brock Lesnar in a match with absolutely no build. So there you have it, folks. That is part 1 of this 3-part series. That has been a lot of instances right there. Next episode, I will go through the next 100 listings that I've got on my list, and then part 3 will go through the remainder and honorable mentions. And like I said, I will explain the whole honorable mentions part when part 3 comes along. Hope you all tune in for part 2 because this took a lot of time to go through. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment what you all think, subscribe with that bell turned on, and I will catch you all in the next one. You will not want to miss what comes up next. Thanks for listening / watching, folks. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out. Have a good day, everybody.